Happy Friday, everybody. Usually on Fridays we do ladies' night, but guess what? Tonight is men's night. All right, everybody. So, money, fame, and power. In America, these things don't just buy luxury, they actually buy influence over the law. But when the spotlight fades and the legal system steps in, does justice really prevail? We're going to find out tonight, because tonight we put some of the biggest names on trial where the evidence is real, the stakes are high, and the verdict, well, the verdict, that's up to you, the jury of public opinion. Sean Diddy Combs is back in the court of public opinion. It's back in the celebrity court of public opinion because he's facing new sex trafficking allegations spanning decades. Will his wealth protect him from his convictions, or is this his long overdue reckoning? Also, another New Yorker, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, may walk away from a campaign finances investigation. Is this selective prosecution or political targeting? And then there's good old Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced Hollywood kingpin, now claiming that Rikers Island is what? Yes, a hellhole. He's calling Riker Islands a hellhole. But should we really care about the comfort of a convicted predator? We'll also dissect Tyrese dropping his racial discrimination case against Home Depot. Was it a weak claim, or is this an example of corporate pressure shutting down a black man's fight for justice? NBA star also Rozier, that's right. Terry Rozier is under fire for illegal betting. Is this just another athlete scandal, or are we seeing the next Pete Rose situation unfold? And finally, we can't go a day without talking about him. Donald Trump may pardon Pras Michel after his corruption conviction. Should a president be able to erase crime at will, or is this proof that celebrity justice is rigged? We got 6 cases. We got 6 questions of power, corruption, and justice. And at the end of the night, you, the jury, as well as our panel, will decide who's guilty, who's innocent, and who's just too rich to go to jail. All right, before court starts, let me introduce our legal beagles that's joining us tonight. First up, humorist at law, Sean Carter. Welcome back to Celebrity Court for Men's Night.
How you doing, Your Honor? 2-for-1 drink night, I guess. So drink up, everybody.
All right, let's drink up. Let's drink up. And also joining him, author of The Shit They Didn't Teach You in Law School, Jason Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Excited to be here. Missed the ladies, but excited to be here.
All right, everybody, don't forget you have the clown emoji for humorist at law, Sean Carter. You got the shield emoji for the attorney, Jason Weiss. And also, don't forget to drop that fax emoji down in there for me as your emoji. Please hit that like button. Also, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit the share button and invite some people over to learn about all the celebrity law drama, as well as learning the law that can apply and help you in the future. Turn on your notifications. And last but not least, jump down in those comments because we love hearing from our jury. All right, first up, Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop, now finds himself at the center of a growing sex trafficking scandal. 2 new victims have come forward, pushing allegations that span more than 2 decades. If convicted, this could be the end of his empire. But this is the real question, jury and algoriters. Is this overdue, or is this a targeted takedown? I want to throw to you, Counselor Carter, and this is what I want to know, because there's a couple of things, but let's start with this. How does the fact that new victims, or how do new victims impact the strength of the prosecutor's case, and do they reinforce credibility, or does this create room for some reasonable doubt because there's so many cases coming forward?
Right. And so that's always the question, right? You don't want to give too much to the jury to consider, but this is, I think, targeted for, or is strategic for a couple of reasons. One thing is they went back a couple of years. These go back, the allegations go back 2004. And what that allows them to do by having these specific allegations is to bring in all of his nonsense for the last 20 years. See, if you had just had the Cassie incident from 2016, you limit the scope of the investigation from 2016 to 2020. I imagine this is, by the way, the first of many individual victims, because they only had one individual victim before listed. Now they have two more. One woman, both women who claim that they were brought in to be workers at the freak offs. One woman says that Diddy dangled her over a balcony, like in that movie 5 Heartbeats. And so, we're going to have more and more, I think, individual allegations. It strengthens the prosecution's case for sure. But like you said, there is always that problem at the end. A jury might go, it's just
too much going on, right? And they could, I think, in a way, all these cases, they may say, okay, we can't really figure out what's real and what's real and what's not real. Let me ask you this question, Attorney Weiss. How do extended statutes of limitation for sex trafficking cases affect Diddy's legal standing, considering that this happened 2 decades ago?
So because of the fact that the statute of limitations is basically opened up, he's going to be facing more and more and more. And look, we know his name is in the press. It's going to stay in the press. It's going to be there for a long time. And anybody who was ever associated with Diddy in any way is going to get dragged in, good, bad, or ugly, is basically. So look, if you were hanging out with Diddy at one of these parties in the Hamptons and doing your thing and you happen to be there, guess what? You're getting dragged in. If you happen to hold a door open for Diddy and he didn't tip you, guess what? You're suing him. So Diddy is going to be the beacon of lawsuits, and we're going to see this for a very long time until he's in jail, stays in jail, and has no money. Then it'll die down, and maybe he and Harvey Weinstein can bunk together somewhere other than Rikers.
So let me ask you this, because obviously, even if these criminal cases don't land him in jail, he still have a ton of civil cases. So, and the civil cases goes directly after his money. What do you think that could do to his fortune as well as his legacy?
Well, if he didn't protect his fortune properly, then it's up for grabs. It's there. Look, there's certain ways to protect your money legally. So, if you're married, if you have it in an LLC, if you have it in a trust, if you own property in Florida, but you're a single guy and you don't have any of that, all that's going to be taken. You can garnish accounts. You can take money. You can go in there. And hey, look, if you need help doing that, I've done it successfully in the past. So I'll do it again.
So we've heard. But let me ask you this, Attorney Carter. If he hadn't set it up before he got into all this trouble, can he set it up while he's in trouble and before he goes to trial?
Not usually. And there's usually sort of a look back period. It says, okay, if you did something this year, 2 years from now, we can still go back and pull your money as if you hadn't done it. So it depends on how long it takes to go to trial, how long these cases drag out. But we've seen a lot of cases, for instance, where people owe other people money from a judgment, and it might take them forever to collect. So chances are excellent. What'll happen is Diddy will have some money he's trying to hide. Remember the Giuliani case from a couple weeks ago, where those two sisters in Georgia, they didn't get their money.
I still don't understand that.
Right, exactly. And I'm not sure Giuliani said anything any up intelligently. It takes a lot to really get the money from someone, unless you happen to be, Attorney Weiss, and he'll tell you about that later. But the rest of us, it's really difficult to get a judgment collected against someone, particularly someone who has lawyers. And by the way, here's the dirty little secret. You know who's getting all of this money, right?
The lawyers.
Yeah, because they'll get their money up front.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me ask you this, because his lawyer is still being very fanatic about that Diddy is innocent, that he's got proof to show that all of this was consensual. If you were his counselor now, Attorney Weiss, what would you be focusing on as his defense? For
this newest one, or just in general?
All of it. Mm-hmm.
All of it? Put that out there. Put it out. Let the media see it. Let the public opinion see it. And let it stand on itself. Just saying, hey, guess what? I got this secret document. I got these videotapes. I got that. Okay, let's see it. Right? We want to see it as the public. All of a sudden, oh man, he wasn't there because it was date and timestamp that he was on the other side of the world. Great. Goodbye, case number one. What's next? And slowly tick them away. But the problem is, just going out and saying, "Yeah, I got a secret weapon. It's coming down." Put it out already. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm looking at this, Attorney Carter, as the reason why they are constantly saying they're not doing it, right? Because of the jury, he only needs one person to not put him in jail.
Absolutely.
So if they get one Diddy fan on that jury, or one person that's just so confused with all this that's going on, that they could either get a hung jury or he would get off. I think for me that would be the strategy.
Well, and here's normally would be, but here's Diddy's problem here. Diddy's being charged with sex trafficking, and we need to understand what sex trafficking is, because it's not what we think it is. It isn't putting someone in a van and taking them to Mexico or somewhere like that. Right. Sex trafficking is paying someone to come from one state to another to have sex. All right. So if you are in New York and you call and you were on, Craigslist, and you got somebody from New Jersey to come on over, that's sex trafficking. And there's almost no doubt in anyone's mind that Diddy did some stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Right? That Diddy had people coming. As we hear say on the internet, he flew somebody out. Right? Somebody got flew out. Right? And if you fly somebody
more than
out,
once,
you give money.
Right?
And I had a case last week where a lawyer got 4 years in prison for going to sugardaddy.meet, sugardaddymeet.com. Okay, a website where people were out to be sugared. Right? And he did his daddy thing, brought a woman out to Vegas. 4 years. That's
4 years for sex trafficking her?
Yes. And he wasn't Diddy. He wasn't famous. Nothing. They got him dead to rights on this. By the way, they have everybody who organized the bachelor party. They got you for that too. All right. And the question is, normally they don't prosecute. They want to get Diddy. Diddy's gone.
Oh, wow. This is good information to know, because I don't know how he's going to get out of this. All right.
Al's no longer going to organize bachelor parties.
I know. No more bachelor party.
He's calling all his friends hey, I got to bail.
As far as I know, I didn't sex traffic nobody. Everybody did their own thing on their own. All right, algoritmers and jury. The question is this for you, algoritmers and jury, and drop down in the chat. Is Diddy a predator whose power shielded him for years? Or is this a character assassination? I want to know from the jury. Let's put it drop down in the chat. Let me read the question one more time. Is Diddy a predator whose power shielded him for years? Or is this a character assassination? That's the question for the jury and the algorithms. Drop down in the chat. Okay, next up, when a politician is accused of campaign finance violations, justice should be swift and fair. But in the case of the New York City Mayor Eric Adams, Department of Justice may drop their investigation due to, quote, insufficient evidence. Is this a fair legal decision or another example of political elites escaping escaping accountability? All right, let's go to who's got this. It's back to you, Attorney Carter. What evidence is needed, first of all? Because I felt like it was a character assassination when I first saw this. But what evidence do you usually need to prove a campaign finance violation? And why does the Department of Justice always seem to struggle with these cases?
It's hard because of this reason. You can give people money for things, right? You can usually now, if you're foreign power, the argument here, and just so we're clear, they said that basically you can't take campaign contributions from a foreign entity. The Turkish embassy wanted to open, they wanted to get some permits, some things to help them open quicker. And they ended up funneling money allegedly to Adams, not directly to his pocket, but to his campaign.
Got it.
And paying some of his travel expenses. He got to fly first class on Turkish Air. I don't know where he was going, but apparently they were partying up in Istanbul. So he flies out, he gets his free stuff. And they said, hey, you took this bribe. Now, the next thing is, usually the feds do not bring a case unless they're pretty sure they got you. It's different than the states. States, kind of be a little rogue every once in a while, but the feds have like a 8% conviction rate. And the reason is they normally don't play unless they have the goods. What's making them change their mind here, believe it or not, is Trump.
Wow.
Trump is in Mayor Adams' corner. He's actually come out publicly for Mayor Adams. He says, one, you guys have politicized the judiciary. And basically what he's trying to say is, if Adams can get off, then you know what? Those convictions against me were also unfair. So he doesn't care about
Got it. Oh, this is sleazy.
And also, Adams, messed up in the sense that Adams was complaining about the immigration to the Biden administration. He didn't have a problem with the Biden administration letting immigrants in, but when they all came to New York, he said, hey, we need work visas faster. If you get us work visas, we can put these people to work. Otherwise, we're paying all this money to put them up, etc. And so he started complaining about that publicly. And Adams says that Biden did this as retaliation. Now, I got to say this, all right? The Biden administration, Biden himself couldn't remember to charge his cell phone. So I don't know he wasn't charging the New York mayor, all right? But, so here's the thing is, the fact that this prosecution might not happen doesn't mean he didn't do it. It might mean that Trump just calls it off and says, hey, don't do it.
It's so funny to me how strategic Trump is, and it's almost like it's cult-like. Like he just has this touch and this ability to influence people with all of his shenanigans stuff. Let's go to you, Attorney Weiss, real quick. Should there be stricter penalties for politicians caught in financial scandals?
There should be penalty. Politicians caught in financial scandals should be punished just like anybody else. And the fact that this is somebody who is representing the city of New York, and he was heavily involved in Brooklyn and all of this, he is, like he's supposed to be the person that's supposed to, bring law and order and do all of this. Now we have Rudy Giuliani, who was a hero during 9/11, but who now is, fighting over, giving up World Series rings that, he didn't earn. So, and the interesting thing is, if you think about it, Trump is going ahead and siding with someone who is the complete opposite
of him. Right.
All right. He's a Democrat. He's black. He's from New York.
Don't tell Trump that.
And everything that Trump is not.
Right.
This guy is. So I think Trump is also putting his thumb on it a little bit because he's trying to say, look, I can help out people that aren't like me. We're brothers.
Right.
We're both being charged by the same pieces of crap in Manhattan. And that's all it is.
Oh gosh. All right. So let me ask you, let's go back to you, Attorney Carter. Would an everyday citizen accused of financial fraud be given the same leniency?
Oh, hell no. No. You couldn't get, the allegation was like $90,000 of flight benefits. Yeah, if you got a ham sandwich, all right, from somebody, you'd be in trouble. And by the way, Trump doesn't give a damn about Adams, right? This is about Trump proving a point that the New York prosecutors or the federal the
Department of Justice,
Southern District of New York is corrupt. And if they drop it to Adams, and he'll say, hey, you know what? They got me. The same people got me because they're corrupt too. So basically, anything coming out of the Southern District of New York is going to be something that he's likely going to be pushing aside from because he's going to constantly be trying to prove his innocence. You know how Trump is. He never lets that go. But let's be clear.
So this is a question. This is a question for the algoritmors in the jury then, okay? I heard that testimony. That makes sense to me, though. I think it's a very interesting tactic. So algoritmors, jury, if the case is dropped, does that prove Adams was innocent, or is this just another case of selective justice? That's a good question. If this case is dropped, does that prove Adams was innocent, or is this just another case of selective justice? Well, actually not selective. It probably would be a very, strategic ploy in order to clear Trump and himself moving forward. All right, everybody, let's drop down in the comments and give me the answer to that. Is this selective justice, you think? Let's get in that chat.
Well, one of the other things is while people are dropping it in the chat, it could just be that they went ahead and filed, and then they're going to see where the pieces fall, right? That shock and awe. Shut it down, stop it, and then we'll regroup, and then we'll figure out who did wrong. And that is problematic in and of itself. So that's my theory. And then I think, of course, Trump is trying to say, nope, not on my watch.
Yeah, right. Because he knows, he's going to need a favor probably from Adams. And
you got it.
If he gets Adams off, he can then control also the state of New York, which is a state that leads, other
absolutely
states
right.
in general. I think
And if Adams doesn't get off, then he's going to be with Diddy, and then both of them are going to get off together. So,
right.
As Sister Cameron suggested, don't let us find out that Diddy had Adams flued out.
All right, Collect David says selective justice. Carol G, selective justice for sure. Abby NYC, the MM family says selective. And Bedfellows, trauma bonded. Tanya Kelly said Mayor Adams is a former cop. Black people will be mad with the mayor if he starts speaking kind words about Trump. Well, they might as well start to get ready because they keep him in that seat. He gonna owe him. That's just what it is. Anita Pyle says no selective justice. SL says this sounds like a movie made for TV. It does, doesn't it? It's like for someone to speak so erratic and so uninformed, his strategies are just spot on. Trump's strategies of how he's moving, how he's been able to win this presidency back, and everything, and how he's moving as it relates for what it is that he wants to get accomplished, it just appears to be spot on. All right, everybody, those likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit the like button, please. Please hit the like button. Also, hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love it when you drop down in the comments because we love hearing from you. All right, next up, one of the most feared and powerful men in Hollywood. Yep, at one time, Harvey Weinstein is now begging for sympathy. He calls Rikers Island a hellhole and wants a transfer, claiming the conditions are inhumane and deteriorating his health. But the real question is here, should we care? Should a convicted predator get special treatment? Or should he suffer the same fate as other prisoners? All right, I'm going to take this over to you, Counselor Weiss. Now, Weinstein's team, he argues that his prison conditions violate his Eighth Amendment's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. How often do courts grant relief in cases like this based on this? And if he does get moved, wouldn't that set a precedent for all the other Negroes that are in there?
Well, look, first and foremost, this is part and partial because President Trump wants to make that movie about him and Mayor Adams, and Harvey Weinstein is going to produce the film. So Trump needs him out of prison to help him produce the film, or at least in a cushier place. So no, but look, he's wheelchair bound and he's describing Rikers Island as a hellhole. Guess what? That's where he should stay, because the things that he was convicted of and the things that he has done and all of this tough crap, right? He had heart surgery, emergency heart surgery at Bellevue Hospital in New York. Phenomenal hospital, great doctors there. So he got the best of the best with treatment, and he wants an earlier trial date than April 15, 2025, so he can transfer out from Rikers. You know what, dude? He needs to stay there. He needs to stay put. He should not be transferred. He's living on my taxpayer dollar, your taxpayer dollar, Attorney Carter's taxpayer dollar. Let him sit there, let him rot, and let him enjoy being in a hellhole because of what he's done to other people.
SL Washington said, I guess he's saying Trump is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Nolan F. Ryan said, ciao, boo. Nolan F. Ryan said, I thought this clown was dead already. I did too, to be honest. See, the MM family says he still would scare me with those worms. Danielle Cameron said, Harvey, it's prison, sir. If you weren't being a creep, you wouldn't be there. That's so true. Natural Heart said, my favorite group is live. Woo, woo, woo. SL, me too. He's still alive. Sir Benjamin says, gosh, he looks like he's melting in that picture. Let's check out that picture one more time. Pick out Bailiff.
He does. He looks thin and sickly. And you know what? He's asking and begging the court. This is what he said. I'm asking and begging you, Your Honor. I can't hold on anymore. Hey, Mr. Weinstein, don't hold on anymore. Goodbye. Your time is up.
Yeah, my whole thing is I just want to know, like, if they give him accommodations, I mean, they're going to have to give a whole lot of people accommodations because all of it is the same for everybody that's out there.
You got
So
it.
was he not thinking that what prison is not supposed to be the Four Seasons? It's not even supposed to be like the Courtyard Marriott. I mean, it's not even supposed to be the Red Roof Inn. Like, what is he expecting?
It's not even supposed to be campground.
Right, like I don't even understand. What was he expecting? Like, and why does he think he's special that he doesn't have to go through it, but the other people in there should?
Look, just because he is not being treated the way that he wants to be treated doesn't make it a hellhole, right? If he's sick and they have medical doctors there and they have things there that he could be taken care of just like he would at home or anything else, then you know what? Sit in your cell, be all by yourself. I'm sure he's in a medical wing anyway, and enjoy. And the rest of us, we enjoy too.
Right, exactly. All right, let's go to the algorithm and the jury real quick. This is my question for you all. Drop down in the chat. Does a convicted criminal like Weinstein even deserve any leniency? And what makes him different than anyone else? Or should he endure the same conditions as other inmates? Does he deserve any leniency? Why? Because he wrote a couple of good movies or directed a couple of good movies? Or should he endure the same conditions as other inmates? And this is my other question, if you really want to break it down. Should taxpayers foot the bill for special accommodations for wealthy inmates who basically sexually assaulted a slew of women? Why should we have to foot the bill for special accommodations for him? Drop down in the chat, algorithms. We want to hear from you. Speaking
I want to hear from Attorney Carter.
Huh?
I want to hear from Attorney Carter. He's busting to say something. I can see it.
I want to say this. I have no sympathy for Harvey Weinstein. You get what everybody else gets. I do want to say that maybe we want to make sure that everybody doesn't get Rikers, because Rikers is horrible. All right. If I asked ChatGPT, how is Rikers a hellhole? And it was like, nigga, yeah. It used the N-word, right? It was like, it's horrible. Don't ever go there. You know, they're trying to close it down, but they haven't figured out. I mean, it's horrible. So I don't want anyone to go to Rikers, but certainly Weinstein, you don't get any special treatment. By the way, you know, he filed a $5 million civil case in November saying that, you know, he deserves $5 million. And I think that,
well, what?
Because they have been treating him well in the prison. Now, obviously, that's never going to go forward. Everybody could make that case. And the weird thing about Weinstein, this is his own fault. He gets convicted first in New York. They send him out to California. He gets convicted there. He's got prison terms, 39 years of them. He appeals the New York conviction and gets it overturned, which puts him back in jail. He could have been in cushy prison, not in Rikers, if he hadn't decided that he had to act a fool. And even if he got off with on the New York charges, he still got 16 years in prison. Look at the picture of that man. That man ain't making another 16 years.
No matter where he
is and relax. If he had sat where he was, he'd been fine. Well, he wouldn't have been fine. He'd been in prison, but he wouldn't have been in Rikers. So
hey, look,
driver's seat said, "Oh shit!"
If Weinstein has money, he can go ahead and make it cushier for every single inmate in Rikers. I wouldn't have a problem.
But I don't understand why with all of these victims, doesn't he have a slew of civil cases drowned in his bank account? Because his sexual assault cases, he was convicted. Like, I don't understand why. How does he even have money now?
I don't know if he does. That's why he's suing for $5 million.
They're trying to get his money back. Trying to get his money up.
Tanya Kelly says all prisoners say that they're mistreated, and Daniel Cameron says Harvey may not make the next 16 minutes. He's looking. Well, you know what? I don't have any empathy for him, because what he originally has done to some people's careers and done with women, and they talked about his body and what that's just trauma. Deaf God said, can Tasha K sue her former worker Chelsea for writing a book about her? We don't know. I guess we have to get the details. We have to get details on that. All right, let's keep moving. Speaking of a crybaby, when Tyrese filed a $1 million lawsuit against Home Depot for racial discrimination, it sparked conversations about corporate accountability. But now, guess what he's doing? He's dropping the case. Do you think he settled, or was he pressured? Or was there never enough evidence to begin with? All right, we're going to go back to you, Attorney Carter. What are the legal hurdles for him proving something like racial discrimination in retail lawsuits?
Don't we have
let's see this clip, Bailiff.
You're looking at me on FaceTime and I'm telling you it's me. And then you're saying the policy is I got to come in here and show my ID. So why did your coworker let me leave with 2 candy bars with no ID and I didn't swipe a credit card? If that's your policy, that's what I'm asking. If that's your policy,
That little
I'm
girl
asking
looked at
you.
him like,
I don't work here. I'm asking
Really,
what is your
sir?
policy? This is a reflection of you. Because you're the cashier supervisor, and then you called your boss to get to the bottom of what's happening. So I'm asking you, as the boss of the cashiers, why did somebody on your team and staff look at me, grab the scanner out of my hand? It was over here. We gave it to him. It was like, hey, man, here. He reached over the wood and the doors and went bloop, bloop, bloop. And I said, hey, man, they going to take care of the transaction. They got it. I'm out. You're being a racist. And that's
Dang.
the truth.
So, okay, so wait. He got his candy bar, went out, and said, they're taking care of me.
yeah, I think what he didn't want to do was wait in line. Basically,
Correct,
That's what it sounds like. He didn't want to wait in line. He grabbed a couple of candy bars that he was going to eat while he was sitting in the car. He said, okay, scanning the candy bars. He gave them the card for the candy bars as well as what his workers were going to purchase. And he went and sat in the car.
I don't think he handed them the card. I think what happened was he took the candy bars and he said, they're taking care of this.
No. They had his credit card.
Okay.
Yeah, they had his credit card.
He handed them their credit card and said, hey, they're going to take care of this. So no one stopped him. First of all, no one stopped him for not paying for the candy bars.
Right.
So I could see where he's thinking it's going to be okay for them to pay for it.
Right.
However, I don't see where it was racist because they made him come back in because the back of the card saase check for ID.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, matter of fact, the back of your card says check for ID. I got my card. It doesn't say that. All right. So obviously it's an issue. Okay. Right. It's something to be thought about. And here's what I love about this. Tyrese says, I didn't want to be out here because, fans, people recognize me. Yeah, Tyrese, you famous, but in Home Depot, ain't nobody think about you. All right. And unless your name is Bob the Builder, ain't nobody think about you in Home Depot. All right. Ain't nobody, you'd have been fine. All right. And he out there, making more of a scene. Remember, he don't want anybody to see him, but now he making a 20-minute scene when all you had to do was go in there, say, I'm Tyrese, boom, get your stuff.
Right. Here's my card. Here's my ID.
Exactly. And of all things happening to black people in the world, everywhere, all the time, he sued him for $1 million. Said, this is my, I'm like, really, bro? That's about 14 minutes of inconvenience, about $14 worth. All right. And quite frankly, he basically came to that $1 million version because he said, that's how much money I spent at Home Depot over these years. And I got to tell you, Tyrese, you got ripped off because Home Depot got a lot of cheap stuff. I went in there and bought some plumber's tape the other day, 49 cents. All right, so you obviously overpaying at your Home Depot, or you in the Beverly Hills Home Depot. You need to come on and go to Compton Home Depot and get you some cheaper stuff. But the bottom line is that Tyrese was making a mountain out of a molehill, and we got a new song coming out, right?
What is it called?
I'll sing a little bit for you. All right, what? Home Depot. Why you wanna act like that? I'm just trying to mow my yard. You won't let me use my card. Why you wanna act like that?
You are a nut. Attorney Carter, you are a nut. So let me ask you this, though, like seriously, though, okay? With DEI being eliminated at Home Depot, maybe he saw that they weren't going to get anywhere. He wasn't going to get anywhere with this lawsuit, and that he was spending all that money to bring this lawsuit where he needed to pay down his child support case.
There you go, right?
All right, this is funny right here. Colette Davis says Tyrese acting like a black Karen. Let's see. Death Guy says Tyrese need a diaper change. Oh my God. Afro Singh says no one gives their card over. They tap to pay. Her asking for ID sounds sus, despite Tyrese sometimes annoying. Okay. Natural Heart said, I wrote that in where my signature should be, check for ID, to see if the cashier would ask, but even swipe now. But Ev is swiped now. I don't know what that means. Abby NYC said he's such a headache. I see why no woman wants him. Oh, God, that's funny. That's a tough one. All right, Joy Aya is laughing. Driver's seat cashier. Aren't you the dude who was online crying over child support? Colette Davis said, Attorney Carter, you cracked me up. And Michelle Lampkin says, I always look forward to seeing you all. I love
wait.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, please, because our likes aren't liking. All right, let's go to the next case here, which is Terry Rozier. Rosier, right?
Rosier.
All right. This is an interesting one for me. Wow. I didn't know until today that he was making $24 million. I didn't even know who this guy was. But guess what? The NBA does. The NBA has strict rules about gambling, but that didn't stop Terry from allegedly placing illegal bets on games. If true, this could be one of the biggest betting scandals since Pete Rose. Do y'all remember how they virtually hung Pete Rose in the public opinion court? So anyway, if he Lord, I'm getting ready to call him Pete. Is Terry a gambler who got caught, or is there a bigger issue of corruption in professional sports? I'm going to go to you, Attorney Weiss, because you work with a lot of athletes, and in fact, you have some history with this professional athlete. What penalty does the NBA impose on players involved in betting scandal? Isn't that one of the biggest violations?
Yeah, it actually is, and
professional sports.
He could be looking at massive suspensions from this. So supposedly, what happened is that he altered his performance during a game, and it got so bad that the NBA was alerted that there was unusual betting activity related to Terry Rozier. In his performance in a game in Charlotte, and it was Charlotte versus New Orleans. The league conducted an investigation and didn't find any type of violation, but betting books and all of this, they were the ones that brought this in. He started the game, played less than 10 minutes, left the game with a foot injury, and didn't return. There were a ton of bets based on whether he would score a certain amount, rebound a certain amount, and the betting history and trajectory was like all over there. It was like all of a sudden everybody's betting on Rosier and all this, and he only took four attempts and all this. So Pete Rose got banned from the game because he was betting on baseball games while being a manager / player. Okay, so he was betting. Now, if you want to bet on your team to win, that's great. But Rosier is being accused of betting on himself basically to lose. And well, no, maybe not betting on himself, but yeah, I mean,
betting that his team loses.
Well, but here's the thing is Rosier didn't make any bets. We don't have any evidence of that. The thought is that maybe he tipped someone off, said, hey, I'm not going to be playing tonight. You guys bet on it. Right. And so that's what
he thinks he's good enough. He's so good.
He didn't bet any of his own money.
Because he's not playing, then they're going to lose.
Absolutely. Not the team's going to lose, but the bet, because you can bet not only whether your team wins or lose, but individual players, whether this player gets X number of points, whether this player gets X number of rebounds, just like Attorney Weiss was saying.
Okay,
and so here's the thing about it, and this is where I think we're making too much. The NBA cleared Rosier. They went to his phone, they went to his records, they said, you didn't place any bets. You're fine. The question becomes, did he tell someone, or did someone else in the building? Imagine you're his trainer. You know that he can't go tonight because you've just been working on his leg for 4 hours. You call your boy and say, hey, Terry not going to play tonight. Bet all the stuff against him tonight. Right?
Okay, gotcha.
And so the real thing is his name is wrapped up into this because it got tipped off because the bets were about him. But doesn't mean he did it. And the fact that he makes $24 million a year makes me think he probably wasn't betting.
What is he betting against?
Yeah, he's not betting.
How much could he make?
Well, right? He's made $133 million so far.
Right.
In betting?
No, in salary, right?
In salary.
A guy you never heard of.
$133 million so far.
Yeah. And so let's be clear. We shouldn't say that this is Terry did anything. We don't know what Terry did at all. We know that the bets were about Terry. The NBA has cleared him, and now the feds are looking at it, not whether Terry did anything wrong, but whether someone close to him did something, whether someone who knew something called other people. The thing I think is interesting for the algorithms to understand is if you ever get a tip like this, don't be so quick to rush out and actually, bet, because there's an organization out there called U.S. Integrity. They're out of Vegas. They monitor all this stuff. And so when they looked at this guy, you guys nobody recognized him unless you're a real hardcore basketball fan. They said, why the hell is everybody betting on Terry? And they actually are coordinated with all the books. And so they call the feds. If you do this stuff, it wouldn't matter if you guys are all tight. If there's some kind of unusual activity, it'll get reported back to the feds, and then you'll have some questions to answer. It's like Martha Stewart. All right. Then you be in there making, cookies with her.
If you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, you're going to go to jail. Venetia Phillips says, Black MFs always trying to cheat. JP Mills says, shaking my damn head. I hope it was worth it, Pete Rose Jr.
So wasn't there a basketball player, I think, with the last name of Porter who also had some problems? But
and that's how they found out about it. So the guy before him was Jonte Porter, and he actually got banned for life because he was betting on the games.
Yep.
So if you bet on the games, you're gone.
And he was like no name. He was a no name, like nobody knew.
I remember him.
They didn't even wait till by the way, he later got convicted. They didn't even wait for the evidence to come in. If they suspect you did something wrong, you're gone.
It's so funny because right when you get hired, you go to a no gambling workshop that tells you if you get caught, we're going to fire you and throw you out the league
forever. And so let's be clear. We should be clear about Rozier here. It might not have been him. It just the betting was about him.
Okay. And supposedly him giving inside information to somebody else or a trainer saying, look, I'm not going to be playing much tonight. So take the under, and all of this. And he pulled himself out of the game. That was the other thing. So, they were looking at the timing. They were looking at how he performed on the floor. So look, he's no stranger to the legal system. That's all I'm going to say. This is not his first run in.
Is there something
No, I'm not talking about nothing.
Is there something Attorney Weiss?
Nope, nothing at all. But we're gonna leave that cat in the bag. But this is not his first, his second, or his third time being involved.
It's something shady.
And look, when you what's the expression?
You can take them out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. Hey, it's true. It's true, baby.
And it just has a lot to do with he probably gave somebody some inside information, and that's
what it sounds like to me too. So this is a question for the algorithms then. If we think he gave inside information, should the punishment be harsher for athletes like him that are on the front line caught cheating? Algorithms drop down in the chat. Should the punishments be harsher for athletes like him who are on the front line called cheating? All right, everybody, before we go into the last case of the evening, be sure to hit that like button, please, because the likes just aren't liking. Also, please hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit the share button. Invite your friends over to learn about the law on the back of the legal problems of celebrities and athletes as well as politicians. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, keep the questions coming. Last up, oh, wow, Pras, once a hitmaker with the Fugees, is now a convicted felon for conspiring with a foreign government to influence U.S. policy. Something about that just don't even sound right? But now, guess what? Trump is considering a pardon. Is this justice or is this another case of political favoritism? Let's go back to you, to Jason Weiss, and tell me, after we look at the video here, did we have video on this? Can't remember.
Or photos, I think.
Yes, we have video.
Yeah.
We got video or just photos?
Just photos, I think.
Okay, 9. Okay, sorry. We got photos. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this is a question for Attorney Weiss. What legal power does the president have in issuing a pardon, and are there limits to him issuing pardons? I thought pardons were only issued like at the end of their term. You can issue a pardon anytime during your term.
So you saw that picture of Trump. That man can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, to whoever he wants. And the whole thing about it that Trump is taking an interest and a liking to this is because the he and Pras are the subjects of investigations by the same Justice Department public corruption unit. Same one. So guess what? Hey, that's my new buddy Pras. We're hanging together. The presidential pardon is under consideration. No official decision has been made. The Justice Department is not talking about this. And look, this would just go into the whole Trump consistency with, using this executive clemency power, and he's going to continue to do it. He is going to, he's basically saying to the DOJ, this guy won, you lost, and I'm going to keep rubbing it in your face. And every time this unit tries to do something, I don't care who it is, I'm going to go ahead and pardon them.
Exactly. He is making it very clear that, if you're loyal to him, he's going to be loyal to you. If you have a problem with him, he's going to make sure that he negotiates, right, and trades all favors. Toria Williams, thank you so much.
Your Honor. Look, why do you think President Biden went ahead and pardoned all of these people on the way out? Because he was concerned that Trump was going to put these people on a witch hunt. And it was anybody who was associated with Trump was going to be the subject of some sort of, like, I don't know if anybody saw the movie Billy Madison, but Steve Buscemi's character had all these people written on a list that made fun of him. And Adam Sandler's character called him up and he said, I'm sorry for bullying you in high school. And he takes his lipstick and he crosses his name off the list. Like, you're good. So that's what Biden tried to do for all of these people that went against Trump. And it's I want
to get back to Toria Williams because we can't cut off people, Jason, that's skipping us money.
Absolutely.
I apologize.
Thank you so much. Toria is saying, please hit that like button and share and subscribe. Thank you, Toria. That really means a lot. I really appreciate it. Abby NYC, the MM family, says trauma bonds. Danielle Cameron says Prod did it because by looking at his forehead, his hairline conspired with the back of his head. Trump don't even know who that is. Lakers in 5 says they usually wait till towards the end, but they can do it anytime they want. I didn't know that. I'm learning something every day. Benicia Phillips says this show deserves the likes. Very educational, entertaining, funny. I love you guys. I watch the show over and over, laughing. Yes, because Attorney Carter is a hoot. Let me tell you. SL says names on a chalkboard. And Toria Williams says he's firing all of the FBI for having anything to do with Trump's case on January 6th, plus all the lawyers as well that were involved. So we have something interesting coming up. Be sure to check your notifications. I'm going to have here on the show, and Jason, this attorney who used to be a former FBI agent in the state of New York is going to be joining us on the show with attorney Redwine, and we're going to break down all things Diddy as it relates to the FBI's involvement and the lawyers' involvement. We're going to do an entire show with a former FBI agent turned lawyer, and he's going to partner. We're going to partner him with attorney Redwine, and we're going to break down all things Diddy to talk about the different layers of the case and the different like FBI, Homeland Security. What are those divisions called? The different divisions that are bringing the cases. So be sure to watch your notifications. That's going to be a very interesting show. Tierra Sardine says, we love you here, Jason. Colette Davis says, love this show. Danielle Cameron said, ooh, can't wait. Let's hear them Diddy jail tapes. Ooh, that's some good stuff right there. All right.
Let me just say one more thing about this case, then we can wrap up. That Pras and Trump is not just pardoning people a lot of because they were tried in New York, but they're tried for the stuff he got tried for.
Right.
So, for instance, Pras, the reason that he has been convicted, and by the way, he's looking at 20 years. His sentencing is a couple months, is because he got caught up in this foreign influence thing. helping the Chinese company give money to U.S. politicians against election laws. And the thing that's interesting is that's what Trump got impeached for. Right, almost got impeached for the first time. That was a Russian investigation. So anything that has anything to do with Trump, and then of course there's personal circumstances. I didn't realize this, but did you guys know this? I got to go look this up now. That actually that Trump was on a Fugees album.
Get out of here.
1998, he made a cameo appearance on Pras's debut solo album, Ghetto Superstar.
That's interesting.
So if you got a personal connection with Trump,
what year?
And that he's going to let you in.
What year?
1998.
Oh, okay, so that makes sense. I'm gonna tell you, I say this all the time. 98 till the early 2000s, I used to do work with Trump, and that Trump was a cool Trump. He was always supporting like hip hop. He was always supporting African Americans. He was very kind of interested in being the cool kid on the block. So to see him totally flip the script and become this person is almost like a completely different person.
It is. And the other thing about Pras is we should say, I won't be so mad if he gets a pardon, only because he already did his 20 years waiting for, oh God, what is her name? Lauren.
Waiting for Lauren to get to the show. Wait for Lauren to come out.
Waiting for her to get the show, so he good. Lauren Hill.
He's so bad. He did it for years. You're right. All right, everybody. This is the time of the show where we go to you, the jury, as well as the algoriters and the panel here to see if they're guilty or not guilty verdict. First up, Diddy's indicted again in the expanding sex trafficking case. Is he guilty or not guilty? What's it looking like, Attorney Weiss? What say you?
Attorney Redwine's going to cover this in great detail in one of the shows, but he's looking dirtier and dirtier, and I don't think any amount of oil is going to allow him to slip away.
Attorney Carter?
Yeah, I can't say what's going on, but I say that my wife watched actually the Diddy documentary on Cinemax and threw out all the baby oil. The kids we have around here just all ashy. We ain't got no lotion, nothing around here.
I'm Alan, I'm your judge here. It's celebrity court. And look, unfortunately, in the court of public opinion, Diddy, you still have not shifted the burden of proof to have people think that you're not this really bad person. I've said this before. I think you should try a different strategy. So for right now, in the court of public opinion, we're going to find Diddy guilty as charged for this heinous sex trafficking crime. All right, next up is New York City Mayor Eric Adams guilty or not guilty of campaign finance case charges. Attorney Carter, what say you?
Yeah, brother. Look at that head. Yeah, brother. You guilty? You guilty.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
I think he's gonna walk away from this one.
Yeah. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. And unfortunately, in court of public opinion, he's got the right man on his side, right? He's got the right man advocating for him. And obviously, a call has been made. And now the investigation is being pulled. We're going to have to find him, though, in the court of public opinion, not guilty. Mayor Adams is not guilty in the court of public opinion. Next up, Harvey Weinstein. Is he guilty or not guilty for being a criminal and being held in a hellhole? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I think he is guilty of what he did, and he deserves to rot where he is.
All right. Attorney Carter?
I would like to let every other prisoner out, but keep him there. But yeah, and Harvey, it's your own fault, dummy. You could have stayed in the quote unquote nice prison, but you trying to get your convictions overturned, and you did that stuff. Just sit where you are in the night, and when you get back to real prison.
Okay, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Harvey Weinstein guilty of being a crybaby. Like I just feel like maybe this was the wrong campaign in the media. He should have said from a medical position, right? He like I would say if I was him, if I was trying to get out, I would say my medical issues are greater than the services that can be provided here. And to protect my, what he said, 8th Amendment of cruel and unusual, you're creating a cruel and unusual environment for me because you don't have the ability to manage those. And I would have a doctor, I would have an expert, I would write all types of papers, I would do an op-ed to get the empathy of people to get him physician care. I think that would have been a better campaign than saying, oh, it's a hellhole and I need to be moved. Because you'll never get moved, sir. Because if they move you, they have to move everybody else who feels the exact same way. And you're not thinking, your lawyer's not thinking, and your PR people not thinking. Your checking account must be real low. Sorry.
Who. I was convicted for a crime and I'm being punished for it.
Right. And so now we have no empathy. Now we would have empathy if you were not being treated medically fair, but no empathy otherwise. Okay, next up, Tyrese. Is he guilty or not guilty of pulling the false alarm? For pulling the false alarm, Attorney Carter, what say you?
Well, absolutely. There's real racism, brother, out here. And the fact that you got to go back into the Home Depot, all right, because you could, to validate your purchases. That's not exactly a Martin Luther King moment. All right. We're not, school going to be open on your birthday, Tyrese.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
Mountain out of a molehill. That's all I'm going to say. Made a mountain out of a molehill.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Tyrese guilty of being a crybaby, not being racially discriminated against, though. It just didn't connect for me. I don't think he convinced anybody else. I think, though, he knows exactly how to get media attention, and that's exactly what it was. He wanted to spend a couple of $1,000s to make it hard and get in the headlines. Now that he sees where Home Depot is going with DEI, he's like, I have no chance. I don't even need to talk about it anymore. I'll cry about something else. All right. Next up, Terry Rozier. Is Terry Rozier guilty or not guilty, Attorney Weiss, for this gambling thing that they say he created?
I think Terry Rozier is guilty of this gambling thing, letting somebody else in on that. And the guy that I work with, Steph John, I want to give a shout out to him, and he's going to say Terry's guilty of other things too, and that's all we're going to say.
All right, Attorney Carter.
Not guilty. All right. And Attorney Weiss is being sanctioned because he's not impartial about this. He's mad because Rozier stole his girlfriend in 9th grade.
I'm not mad.
You mad because you bet money on the Heat. That's what it is. Because you let down exactly because your Heat suck, and now you mad at him. That's what it is.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm gonna find Rozier not guilty. Not guilty. I'm gonna side with you, Attorney Carter. I don't see anything that proves that this young, black, wealthy, extremely talented athlete, even though I don't know who he is, did anything wrong. Sorry, I'm going to protect the black man and the money.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Pras. Is Pras guilty or not guilty of having the right connections to get his ass out of jail? Attorney Carter, what say you?
The fact that Trump wants to pardon him makes me think he did it. I didn't even know Pras before, but the fact that Trump is on his side and you put Trump on the album, come on, man. You could put me on the album. You see I can sing. You saw me do Tyrese.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Attorney Weiss, what you say? You guilty or not guilty?
He's not guilty of being in a hellhole in Rikers. Oh, wait, that's Weinstein. He's guilty of having Trump as his bud.
Hey, listen, I'm going to agree with Abby NYC, the MM family. Pras is guilty. He's cashing in on his friendship. That's what he's guilty of, cashing in on his friendship. And his friendship is protecting his behind. All right, everybody. Who knew that those two even knew each other? All right, everybody. Tonight, we put power and privilege on trial. We examined how money, status, and influence could bend the legal system and how in some cases it can break it entirely. Diddy, one of the biggest names in music, is facing allegations that could destroy everything he built. But is this justice catching up with him, or is this a targeted attempt to take him down? Eric Williams may walk away from a campaign finance investigation, but if an everyday citizen were accused of the same crime, would they have the privilege of a case simply being dropped? I don't think so. Harvey Weinstein is pleading for better prison conditions. Should we care about the suffering of a convicted predator, or is this just another desperate attempt to escape accountability? Tyrese raised his voice against Home Depot, claiming racial discrimination, only to drop his lawsuit. Was this a personal decision, or was there corporate pressure behind the scenes? Terry Rozier, an NBA star, is caught in an illegal betting scandal. Is this just another gambler, or is it a part of a much bigger issue in professional sports? And last but not least, Pras, convicted of conspiring with a foreign government, is now in the line for a presidential pardon. How did this happen? I guess all you have to do is be put on an album and you'll get out of jail. So I ask you, the jury of public opinion, algoriters, and jury members, where does accountability begin and end? Should the rich and powerful face the same consequences as the rest of us, or does their money buy them immunity? Is justice really blind, or is justice for sale? All right, jury members, what do you think? What do you think is truly guilty, and who deserves a second chance? Does the system work for people that look like you and I, or only for those with power? This just isn't entertainment, everybody. This is a conversation about the state of justice in America now that we have the 47th president, President Donald Trump. So tell me, what's your verdict? Comment, share, and debate. Let your voices be heard, because in this courtroom, the power belongs to the people. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and I'm your judge, Al Reynolds. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, justice is only as strong as those who demand it. Court is now adjourned.